It's okay. It's okay. That makes it real.
Unless I'm
Can.
at range and you hear gunshot.
Okay. Okay, I think we are live now. Let me just do a quick check. Yeah, because there's delay when Zoom tries to talk to Facebook. Yes, we are live. Hello, everybody. This is Coach John here from Learning Out of the Box, and this is my third interview for today.
Wow.
And today we have a very special guest, and from what my friends told me, he's also someone who they respect a lot. Hello, Darren.
Hey, hello, John. Thank you for having me on this program. I'm really inspired by you. Third one today. And this just shows so much. You're wanting to value add and give back to the people that follow your Facebook page.
Thanks so much for being so nice. Okay, let me just intro Darren. He's the managing director, head coach, as well as for LifeWorks Associates. And today he's going to cover winning relationships at home, make for winners in school. Yes, so Darren, before you touch on the essence of today, would you be able to share with us how you end up doing what you love today? Darren, can you hear me?
Well, yes, I can. Yeah. So my story a little bit, right?
Yep.
So what's happened is that I've growing up, I wasn't the smartest in class, and I was just doing so in school until much later, late in my academic life. I can be considered one of a late bloomer, where I discovered a strategy for doing well. One of which was purpose, and because of that, I did relatively well. I got a scholarship. I went to NUS, and I actually taught my class, my course, and graduated in 3 years instead of 4 years.
Wow.
Doing direct honors. First one ever to be given that honor to complete it in 3 instead of 4. And so everything changed for me when I discovered the strategies to succeed. And looking back into my life, I realized that not so much why I succeeded then, but why didn't I succeed earlier, was because of sometimes the home situation. And I would not go on length to describe how I was growing up, but essentially, my parents were a bit hands-off on me, left us to our own devices. And I don't remember receiving a lot of kind of encouragement, and there were some other family dynamics as well. And so when I grew up, I did not. A lot of beliefs that I brought into my world. That, for instance, I'm not good enough. Sometimes, what's the point of trying so hard? And when I face something difficult, I like, okay, I'm not meant to do well, and I used to hold on to all these beliefs, and that kind of limited me and affected me. Of course, this is like a snowball down the mountain, right? It gets momentum and it gets bigger. The more you believe in these things, the more you don't see success. But my question, I asked myself, what if I had the most supportive family environment growing up, then would I be able to do well from the get-go? And I think that's my obsession now. I'd like to help people discover that for themselves. For families, well, they have the opportunity to do now. Yes, and so that's a bit about my background. So I've gone through that the whole piece of struggling, and then to the point where I had a turning point and did very well. And I did a reflection, and I realized that there's so much more we can actually help our children to do well in life. Yes.
So when you say help the children to do well in life, and I can hear that you are also in this journey of exploring what are the essence. Yeah. So what have you found out along the way?
Well, that's a big question.
Yeah.
Okay, to start off with the whole idea of what family is. A lot of us say that the family is a safe harbor where you go out into the world, but the family is a place of love, the place of safety where you come back, to, and all that. I mean, that's of course, yes, but the family actually, if you think of it, is actually the microcosm of society. What our growing up years, the important growing up years, spent in a family, and so the environment actually shapes us how we're going to navigate the world that we're going to go into. And so I would say this, that the relationships at home, the communication, relationship has to do with communication patterns, has to do with the language, has to do with programming of our mind and beliefs and values, and all this actually set us up how we're going to relate to school. And of course, after that is all the reinforcement. If you don't do well, you start to develop other limiting beliefs, and then that kind of set you in life, rather than trying to change it. And so family is very important, because that is where it all begins. Sometimes in Singaporean families, especially where we are very busy, most of us are dual income families. And so the work may be pressurizing. Pre-COVID, and now everybody work from home. Sometimes people think it's better, but actually worse. The reason is this, because the relationships or the communication patterns are not ideal already. And because we work outside and we don't see each other for long hours, it's kind of swept under the carpet. We don't have to deal with with the cracks. But when we stay at home for a prolonged period of time, all these cracks are exposed. And potential for all the blow-ups and all the unhappiness and all that stuff. And so what I'm saying is this, that at home, the language, communication patterns actually install in us the mental model of the world, and how we relate to our world, how we relate to when we face obstacles or difficulties, comes from our upbringing. So very importantly, we have to look at the home as the beginning of motivation, of belief systems that will help us succeed. I'm not just talking about school. School is one thing. Obviously, it's very, very important to all of us right now. But really, we know a lot of people who do well in school but fail in life. Okay, so there's so much more out there. But what is that mindset that can be developed at that the home environment can produce for them, that can cause them to succeed? And so that's what we are going for. So maybe we can talk about specific examples and all that stuff.
Yes. So would you be able to give some specific examples so that the parents can relate to it, and then probably that's how they also get to know to support their kids?
Yes. First and foremost, this whole idea of intelligence. A lot of us value this this thing called quality, called intelligence, and sometimes we don't understand that. We think that intelligence is something that we are born with, right? And when we have two children, for instance, and we see one that seems to be doing well in school and the other is not so well in school, and we tend to praise one and says, "Oh, you're so intelligent," unlike this other person. Or we compare ourselves with neighbor kids or cousins or whatever. And the effect of doing that is this: it makes that quality intelligence something that you either have or don't have. And so when you come to a conclusion and you don't have it in your mind, you just can't. That's an insurmountable obstacle. No matter what obstacle you come across, or difficulty or challenge you face, you just tell yourself, "I'm not good enough. I'm not intelligent enough," and we tend to give up. But that's our that comes through the communication. We tend to praise our kids when they do well and say that, "Hey, you are so clever, you're so smart." We praise quality. On the other hand, actually, what's important is effort. What's important is not giving up. I don't know whether I think we may be familiar with this. There's this stereotype that goes on in America, in the US, that Asians are very good at maths. You probably know this, right, John?
Yeah. We are the best in the world.
we got some kind of genetic code or what that we are good at maths. I wish somebody told me that when I was in school. Then maybe I can activate the genetic code. But the reason is this: because as compared to the their own students in school, the Asian students tend to do well in maths, but they tend to fare badly at mathematics. And the reason is this: they give up too soon.
Mm-hmm.
When they encounter problem, they tell themselves, I'm not, this is not fun. This is, I'll never be able to understand this. This is not good. So they give up. But on the other hand, Asian students, the parents don't allow them to give up. So I don't care. You just stay there and do it until you finish, right? Maybe tiger moms, that era kind of thing. And so because the fact that they stayed at the problem, they found a way through. And so they, of course, they acquired confidence, acquired know-hows and all that. And therefore, they are better at mathematics. Just simply because, not because of intelligence or DNA, but simply because they learn to stay at the problem and not give up. And that is key, because if we can help our children build that mentality that I will stay at a problem and not give up, they can overcome any obstacle. I want to just say something controversial right now, which can be true, and you may agree with me, is this. Right now in school, there's no academic subject that is beyond any student. That literally every student who goes through from Sec 1 to Sec 4 is able to master and do extremely well for the subject, because the level of complexity and difficulty do not need genius level or prodigy level kind of brain, right? But it's really about sticking at it and staying at it and finding a way to enjoy the subject, and you will be able to do well. It's all about strategy rather than about intelligence. And so literally doing well for PSLE, O levels or A levels, in fact, is just finding the right strategy. I don't know what do you think about that, John?
I would say yes, in a sense, because one of the things that I learned from my dad was that you need to put in the hard work, you need to put in the hours, and of course with the right strategies, as in the process skills like doing keywords or mind mapping, will help you to make the learning more fun, rather than just flipping the book from left to right and then using black pen to write on a white paper, which is purely what most people are doing.
Yes.
So there are certain steps or processes that are proven to help the learning to be more fun or more engaging.
Yes. So John, I the first thing you said was your dad taught you, and I mean that shows how important your father was in your learning journey. He may not be able to teach you all the subjects, but he inculcated in you a mindset to which how you can approach your studies, right? And this is the point that I want to make to parents. Some of you hearing this, you say, yes, I want to help my children not give up. In fact, I try so hard, but they just give up. They don't seem to be motivated in their studies. So my question is this: how are you helping? Intention is good. All of us have the highest positive intention. In other words, you want your children to do very well, and your children also, your student really want to do well. That's his highest positive intention. So you say, no lah, don't bluff me now. I see him so lazy, only want to play computer game. He doesn't intend to study. No, I think our first approach mindset is this, that they have the highest positive intent. They do want to do well in their studies. But if it doesn't look like they are doing it, then the question is, what is standing in the way? What's the obstacle that's getting in the way of them doing well, the right actions to do well for their studies? But they, deep in their heart, they do want to do well in their studies. Okay, so that is a big question. So we don't tackle their, the problem is that when we look at them and we start to label lazy, start to label disinterested, unmotivated, and all that, labels do stick, right?
Yep.
Especially when it comes from authority figures.
Plus they stick for life also. Some of them stick for life until like reach a deathbed.
Yeah, and for life, and you'll be surprised. Something that got stuck in primary school will lead you all the way to secondary school, and then I don't know whether I told you this story before. How, and this is the point I want to make by giving an example. I was this student was referred to me. She was now in Sec 3 and she was not doing well in mathematics. Literally what was happening was during the examination, she just would not complete the paper. I mean, she would not complete paper, literally leave like 30 marks on the table or whatever. And so it came to a point where they found it troublesome as a trouble. And so they approached me and I sat down with her and I explored. I realized that literally there was this voice in her head that tells her that she's not going to do well in mathematics. And we explored that, and to cut a long story short, what we did was this. We went back into history and I asked her this question, when do you first feel this way? And she was able to bring me back to primary 3. And she was doing mathematics. Her dad was tutoring her in mathematics. And of course, the dad wanted her to do well.
Yeah.
And she couldn't understand, but he lost his patience with her. And the tone was getting more impatient and more angry, until a point where he actually said something like, you will never get it. You know, and he was very angry and she was very afraid at that point of time, but that stayed with her. And the next time when he asked her, so do you get it anymore? She said, yes, I did. You know, even though that she doesn't get it. And so that became a blockage in her, that she became so afraid. And so that she carried that with her all the way from primary 5, all the way to Sec 3. And because of that, it's still stuck in her. Of course, we had to do an intervention to help her clear that blockage. But the effect was this. The dad really wanted her to do well. That's why he was tutoring her, right? But that day he came back, he was from work, he was tired, you know, probably something happened at work, he was frustrated already, you know, and because she wasn't, you know, doing that well, and he was very upset, right? So it just triggered, and then it blew. And I'm sure he didn't mean that, but at that point, you know, that was powerful. And so because of that, you know, it was anchored in her, this belief that she's not going to do well. And so it boils down to communication. If I just could go on to say this, that as parents, we actually parent 2 generations down. And what I mean is this, how we parent our children would ensure how they parent their children. And so the significance is this: how our parents parent us, actually we learn to parent our children that way. Our parents may not be impatient, angry, or you know, it may be good parents, and their communication may mean they be quite affirming and all that. But guess what? The world that they were preparing us for no longer exists. No. In other words,
tell us more on that.
We cannot parent our children the same way our parents parent us, because the world that they prepared us for, it doesn't exist anymore. And so we have to figure out, so how do we best parent our children? But for many of us, I think our family or origin not the most, have not been the most resourceful one. And I know I speak from experience because, you know, I mean, I'm older a bit. That means my parents are older. You know, they came from a place where sometimes to motivate you, I shame you, right? I say that you're not good enough, so that maybe perhaps inspire you to rise up and, you know, prove me wrong or whatever. Or because they were brought up that way. Or punishment and ridicule was a way of motivation to us. And we do a lot of things out of fear. Like I remember one reason why I hate Chinese so much was because the things here got 10. Everyone I don't get correct, I get 1 cane, no?
Yeah.
And so that wasn't the best way for me to learn Chinese. And so it didn't help me at all. And so fear is not the best way. Fear is actually away from emotion. Means think about this. When you're afraid of something, does that motivate you?
Nope.
Yes. I mean,
As
it
in
does.
fear that thing. Like, let's say,
I mean-
because I'm fearful of heights.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. That's something else, right? If I give you something that you fear more than heights, will you will you overcome your fear? But I mean, think about that. Army, for instance, your NS time, when we are doing 5BX, right? And the PTI, that time got PTI. I mean, it's all about punishment, right?
Yeah,
So knock it down, right? 20, right? So you think about it. Okay, I better play ball, right? I better get in line, I better fall in properly, I better, keep quiet, stand up straight and all that. And that's motivated by fear, correct? And so you can be doing it very sweet, right? But guess what happened when we get back into the bunk? Hey, wiring. Why? Because the fear is gone. The PTI is not there to watch over us, and we let loose. Because fear is away from. That means we do to the extent that we bare minimum to get away from it. And once that is gone, it doesn't motivate us anymore. And so fear is never, ever the best motivator. Instead, what is? Pride. When you know that nobody's watching you, you have the pride and you believe that you are capable of so much more. And you'll not just be satisfied with just a bare minimum. In fact, no matter how well you do, you always believe that you can do better. Because your competition is not with others, it's with yourself. You say, I know I can do better. Because that's pride. And that's the best thing. How can we inculcate that in our children through our communication, through our relating to them? Yeah. And so I'm not just talking about studies, I'm talking about later in life. Yeah.
Yep.
Because as parents, we can never be there to ensure anything else, right? For that matter, let me ask you, John, I'm sure you have seen your share of parents, and you're doing very well in maths. You know why or not? Because one of the greatest fear is mathematics for students, right? That's why I believe your Facebook, a lot of parents are very scared, no? Because maths is like a challenge for a lot of students.
Yeah,
So,
plus for parents themselves, because there are many parents who told me that they didn't like maths since young because of very bad learning experience.
yes, it's a lot of negativity, right? And that's why, are they in the best place to teach their own children, right? But some of time of parents, what we do is this, we try to don't use the stick, use carrot.
Or use cane.
Don't use carrot and stick, right? One, don't use cane. Okay, let's encourage them by giving them reward. No, you know what reward? Okay, I buy you the latest PSP or X game
iPhone.
or what iPhone. Oh, okay. I mean, new generation, different. iPhone Pro, Max Pro. If you score this, you get a distinction or you do well enough for maths or whatever. And we think that that's the best way. However, the problem is this. This is what we call an extrinsic reward. It's a short term, very short term. They're doing it just because they want to get that reward. It's not an internal resource. It's not something that they can call upon when that reward is no longer there. I mean, today you offer iPhone, tomorrow you're going to offer what? No. So do you have to keep on offering something in order to motivate your children? Or would you rather that they find the resources within, that no amount of reward that you can offer will motivate them as much as they can call forth from what's inside of them? And this will bear fruit for the long term. So beyond school, I mean, how long you want to give this reward? Primary school, secondary school, JC, NUS, whatever, how long do you want to do that, right? And so how can they develop internal resources they can call on to help them do well, not just in school, but at work and in life, socially as well. and contributing to this part in their world, right? And so that's important, our communication at home. A lot to think about.
Yes, and I know that because you have worked with so many parents and teachers, which also speaks for your knowledge, as well as the amount of content that you're able to spew up so quickly. And I can sense that because you have so much experience, that a lot of things that they tend to overlap. Yeah, but again, cannot be taken apart because every one of them is so important. Yeah, could you also share with us, because I know that you also work with teachers from NIE and to support them to be better teachers. Yeah, because I think there are not many people I can get to share as a trainer of the teachers in MOE. Yeah, so can you share with us, like, how was it for you, and challenges, and what kind of support we can give to the teachers as parents?
Yes, very good. Thank you for that question. I just want to state first that a lot of people, parents, leave it to MOE to sort out their children academically. Well, yes, they go to school to learn, but actually the main responsibility should be at home. So I always like to say this, students learn not because of MOE, it's because HOME. So
that's a good one.
Yeah, because however you send them to school, it's going to be the starting place of how they learn. So no matter how good the school is, it's they need to overcome, because they do come home, right? They need to overcome whatever they have received at home. So, but it's the same thing that when we deal with the teachers, the question is this: how can the highest positive intent is this. The reason why they become teachers is because they want to teach. It's not because of money. Nobody become a teacher to become millionaire unless you're a tutor. I have someone millionaire tutor and he dare to declare income somehow. Well, in any case, there's a passion there to educate. And when you talk about passion, there's energy, that it's very captivating. The best teachers we know are the most energized and most passionate, right? We won't even say that maybe that they're academically the sharpest, but really it's how they went about teaching that really inspire us to learn. Is that right? And so the question is this: how can you be your best self, the most passionate, most energetic self as a teacher, so that you can be the most resourceful self as a teacher, so that when you go and do your role as a teacher, that you inspire, that the energy becomes transmitted to the students, right? And so that's the challenge. Why? Because first of all, long hours, right? They are on the feet all the time. They are but that's okay, they can teach. But what I hear from the teachers is this: a lot of things get them down. First of all, number one, the non-academic responsibilities. A lot of things that they have to do beyond the teaching, which actually draws their energy away. Some of them literally did not sign up for this. But sometimes, okay, I was part of the civil service and you were part of the civil service. You understand this, the whole need for ranking, the whole need for appraisal, the grading at the end of the year. Some places may not be the most fair. And so people do get discouraged because that in order to do better in something, you have to be someone you're not. And so they get jaded by playing this game. I put it in inverted commas because this is something that we have to do anyway, but they get very tired from it. And also some of them get very discouraged because the parents are very like to criticize a lot. So instead of coming along the parents are the ones that come against the teachers, and so they just feel so discouraged by it. And so as a result, energy go down, passion goes down. The reason why they're doing what they're doing becomes obscure to them. I mean, they still want it, but it's become back of mind rather than front of mind. Let me give you an illustration. We were doing some training in a school before. My partner in crime, Stuart, and you know him, right? And one day he was coming to one school quite early, and so he decided to watch how the teachers arrive at school. And so what happened was this: as he was standing outside the school gate, a car came by. The husband dropped off the teacher wife off on a sidewalk, and she got out and she walked towards the school gate. And there was energy, there was a spring in her step. I mean, in the morning, it's like, yeah, you know, it's a brand new day. I want to do my very best. You know, this is my calling, my vocation, right? And there's a spring in her step. She walks towards the school gate. She actually stops there, and she looks up at the name of the school, the school badge, and then suddenly, literally, her shoulders slumped down. It was like, you know, literally.
Dear.
And then she started to walk in, you know, with the less energy. What happened there? There was a trigger.
Yeah, that's flashbacks.
Yeah, of I don't know what it was. Maybe it's like, oh no, I'm going to meet that class again, or oh no, you know, I got that problem to resolve and all that. And so she's not in the best frame, I would say, to be able to do her very best. And guess what? If the first class, the student naughty, what's going to happen? It's just going to add on, pile on, layer on the angst and frustration. And by the time she gets to the last class of the day, she's so tired and then frustrated. What energy do you think she has? And if
battery flat.
Yeah, and if the student like not paying attention, do you think she has the energy to pursue them? She'll say, "No, I forget it. Blah 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 blah. Whatever." Right? Yeah, and that's not the best thing, right? And so what we do with a teacher is this, and as parents also, we should get alongside them, encourage them. So we teach them self-care, teach them how they can rediscover their passion, put that front of mind, how they can manage their states, because it's all about energy states, so that they can be the most resourceful. And part of the energy state is what are you rehearsing? What is your self-talk? What are you telling yourself? Are you able to recognize when something happens, what is the response or the reaction that you have in here? Okay, what are you telling yourself? And that puts you in that low energy state. What can you do instead? So we teach them how they can be aware of where this is leading them to, and how they can ask themselves, what do I want instead? And then work backwards to have a countermeasure to help them frame themselves in a proper response to be in the right energy states to be able to do what they are passionately so wanted to do. Yeah, so we teach them about self-care. Yeah, and so parents also can learn to do that. So being mindful, don't go enter into a session with your kids when you are angry at work, you know, angry with each other or something, because it carries over. And so how you communicate with them is going to be an overflow from your day if you don't manage it. Yeah.
When you say self-care, what are some of the examples that you propose to the teachers? Because I think for teachers, because they do teach in school, but as parents, we do, or some of us do perform the teaching role as well. So probably the same self-care techniques can apply to us.
Yes. And so there are many strategies for self-care. So we break them down into the modalities. So the first question we ask them are you aware of where you get your energy from? Okay. So for instance, your emotional energy, your physical energy, your mental energy, psychological energy, your even spiritual energy. When we say spiritual, it's not just had to do with faith or religion, but it has to do your connection with why you are here, the purpose, your place in the universe. For teachers, it's easier because many of them, when they sign up, right? I mean, older generation is like no job, right? So we just try lah. But nowadays people do sign up because they have a passion. I mean, usually inspired by a teacher. Usually people become teachers because they were inspired by their own teachers. Positive examples to want to become like their teacher. And they have what we call a calling. you know, the old British language, when you fill up the form, government forms, it's not the word occupation or job. It's the word vocation.
What's the difference between that?
The vocation actually comes from the Latin word, the root word vocare, which means calling.
Oh.
It's purpose in life, you know.
Ah.
So it's very, very powerful. It's not just, okay, what do you do to occupy time and earn some money? You know, that's what job is now, right? But what do you feel compelled or called to do in life? And so that's why vocation. And teaching, I believe it's closer to vocation.
Yep.
Yeah. Calling. So you feel that you want to raise up the next generation, to develop them and to impart knowledge and values. Okay, so it's not just information. Every teacher wants to impart values, right? And so how to get back in touch with that? So that's the spiritual aspect. So how can you remind yourself, connect to that, to draw energy when you are depleted in energy? Yeah, that's one of the most powerful ways to do that. For many people, they have already become obscure why they first joined teaching, because of all the every peripheral roles and responsibilities they have to fulfill. And so how to get back that in focus? Everything is not going to be a stroll in the park. Obviously, there's good and bad, but we channel our energy from focusing on what helps us, not what drains us. And so learning to come back to that focus of the reason why you started, that's number one. And of course, there are many other practical ways. For some of us, emotional expression is important. A lot of us keep it in. No? I'm not saying must go and vent. A lot of us vent. Sometimes you get very frustrated with your boss and you cannot say it to his face. What you do, you go and find some kaki, go and have coffee and then let go, right? Vent, scold the boss. And then after that, you feel a bit better. And you thought that's helpful. Actually, it's not helpful, you know. You know why? You know what you're effectively doing?
Magnify the negativity.
Yeah, and you are rehearsing. It's called rehearsal. You're rehearsing getting angry with the boss because you put yourself back into that state, right? The emotions, when you tell it, you feel the pain and you feel the anger, and you are rehearsing it. And so next time when you see the boss again, guess what's going to happen easier?
And you'll be playing like a tape recorder, just because you have been rehearsing, so it play really fast and it can just be automated.
Yes, and it's quicker, it's faster getting angry. So rehearse getting angry. So that's not the best way. Renting is not the best way. The best way is actually learning to manage your thoughts, manage your emotion. Yeah. So the real test is not outside of the trigger. The real test is when you come face to face with the trigger, are you able to respond in a different way? If I can give you an example, this happened to me. There was this particular person which really pissed me off, really bad. So angry with this person, went behind my back and said all kinds of things, and all that. So I was really, really angry. And so, but I was in a position of authority, and so the person is not at my level, and so as a person of authority, I cannot have this open Cold warfare thing, right? I have to lead by example, because everybody is watching what we are doing, right? So and it builds the atmosphere. So I mean, same way like at home, husband, wife, if got Cold War, the whole family feels it. Okay, so so we have to manage it. And so every time I see his face, I become angry. Heart rate go up, you know. The thoughts come in, you know, and I hate him. I don't want. So I realized what I was doing, become aware, because it's leading me towards that path of avoidance and all that, right?
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes in school, the teachers so afraid or angry at the principal. Every time you see the P coming, then we all ke belakang pusing the other opposite direction, right? Just pretend never see each other. So is that the best way, right? And so what I did was this: I decided to what is the outcome I want? I want to be able to look him in the eye and actually shake his hand
Wow,
and
that's
actually affirm him, say something good to him, you know. I'm like, wow. So if I want to do that, then I ask myself, so what actions do I need to do?
just
I
watch
must
it.
Yeah,
You
I
watch
must
it first.
I must be there with him. I must put on a smile. I must be able to have something good to say. I must rehearse what I want to say, or else it will come out awkward, right? And so in order to do that, what state do I need to be in? And I realized this, that I cannot be angry. I cannot be, you know, frustrated. I need to literally, I mean, this is very important for parents as well to understand this. My best work is done, not, I mean, when we do serious work, we are serious, but my most creative work is done when I'm having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is very important for students as well. You want your students to be very creative. You want your students to be open-minded. Then that state of fun. I mean, that's why they enjoy computer games so much, because it's fun for them. And then they look at their studies like, macam, you know, they can do. A lot of people say, oh, my son very stupid one. No, the study cannot do well. Computer game, wow, can kill the big boss one. No, can go all the way. Yeah, he's very intelligent, right? You know, he can teach you how to do well in your computer in the online game that he's playing. That doesn't reflect lack of ability. That reflects resourcefulness. That reflects ability. But how did he get there? Because of the state. What was the state? Fun, right? And so I realized I need to be in that fun state so that I'm smiling, I'm sincere, I can, you know, I'm prepared to do something which in another state I'm not. And so how do I do that? Okay, so don't laugh at me, but this is what I did. Okay, I picture him in my mind. Okay, I see him, you know, looking like Donald Duck, cartoon character. And then, you know, and whatever, I mean, some of you, like, when I say Donald Duck, I say, what is that? Different generation. Different generation. Pokemon, okay, Pokemon, whatever, right? Something funny. So when I see him in my mind, I laugh, haha, you know, funny, haha, okay. And I imagine him speaking, and it's this Donald Duck voice, no. And so I laugh at it, right? So it doesn't invoke that anger feeling anymore, right? And I realized that he's just, you know, just who he is, Donald Duck. You know, he can't help himself from doing Donald Duck things, you know. And so the thoughts begin to shift about him. And so I had to do this mental rehearsal, over and over again. I mean, this is apart from him. So on my own, I find some time just rehearse this thing. And one day, guess what happened? I was in this place, and then suddenly, without knowing, I just turned around, and he was face to face with me. You know.
Oh, you got a shock.
Split second, but then the rehearsal kicked in. I actually brightened up, smiled. I reached out my hand. I was surprised also, automatically, right? I rehearsed it, reached out my hand, and I actually said, you know, thank you for all your dedication. It's inspiring. And he was dumbfounded. He was like, oh. And I walked away. I was smiling at myself. You did it. And so it's about the state and the rehearsal, because we have rehearsed negative states all the time. We are champion of negativity. Rehearse. And we think, and because it's like this, our parents to make us focus on study was stern, you know, very strict, you know, put the fear of God in us and all that, right? And we thought, yeah, that is the best state to be in to and get results, because that make us focus, that make us study, right? But to what extent? To what extent? I mean, you did it, yes, you did, you passed your exams, but did you manage to unlock the best of your ability? And that is the big question today. Okay. How has that helped you later in life as well? Yeah. And so what do we want instead? So if we want our children to become the most resourceful and unlock the best of ability, if that is the outcome we want, what is the action we need to take? Do we need, can we be encouraging, affirming? Can we create a state of fun? Yeah. How can we help them inculcate pride? How inculcate that internal intrinsic rewards system that they have on their own that will far surpass any standard that you think. John, you have a hobby. What hobby is that? If you have a hobby, I think doing videos is your hobby. 41 already. Read, right?
Yeah.
And time just passed so quickly, correct?
Yeah.
And sometimes, I don't know whether you're young and you're reading and then you forgot it's dinner time. Your mother call you, hey, come and eat dinner. And you're like, hey, wait, that's so fast. Time just fly by and that's what the state of fun is. Imagine for their studies, they're so focused and they're enjoying it so much that they're not thinking of playing computer games. They're not thinking of watching TV. They're just enjoying it. And sometimes also, dinner time, they forgot, oh, sorry, 5 minutes more, please, mom. This is intriguing. Intriguing, it's internal intrinsic rewards that it just moves them. And they stay at the maths problem, they stay at the chemistry, the biology, the physics problem. In fact, they stay at it and they find a way to succeed. Way beyond, that you can help them too, because they discover it for themselves. This is so powerful. Yeah.
Thanks so much for sharing. And at the same time, I know that many parents, because nowadays most parents are very well educated, and I would say most know this. But I think when it comes to getting things done, and I'm not sure about what you feel, but for me, I think that there's also certain level of wanting to be instantly gratified.
Yes.
Yeah, we want result fast. Yeah. So sometimes it really is a struggle within ourselves. Should we do this while it's correct? But yet, if we do this the other way, which probably is more destructive, but get things done.
Yeah.
Like nagging.
Yes, of course. Yeah, but it is a short run results as well, right? You see, unfortunately, we cannot see the future. When we are in a moment when we are frustrated, we just want it to be done and done it now, right? And so we don't see the long run effect. I've seen families break up. I won't say break up as in the relationship between parents and children are very, very bad. Not talking terms, at home, just lock up in the, I hear stories of how children in this COVID-19 circuit breaker, right? They're all at home, but they're all each in a room, lock the door, don't come out. They don't do anything together. We always complain, right? Work is so busy, work is so busy, no time for family. Now got time for family, nobody want to talk. So I've seen that happen because of people play the short game. We need to learn to play the long game. That means we start off with vision. What is your vision for your family? In the corporate world, we always talk about corporate vision, right? The mission statement, where we are going. How can we come up with a vision for our family? What does that look like? What's the mission statement, if there is, that defines what goes into the kind of family we want? Who came up with it? In some organizations, it's the CEO's great idea, right? Anybody buys into it, nobody really cares. You ask them, okay, what's the mission statement? They're like, very embarrassing. But because they don't buy into it, because it was not a collective coming together to define what the vision is. I believe that the starting point is this. No matter where you are already, let's get together. Let's sit down. Let's talk about vision. What kind of family do you see yourself? us becoming. And if possible, come out with some mission statement. And everybody contribute, not just the CEO or the father, but everyone has a contribution. And there's an agreement. There is, and then when we put it out there, it's like a reminder to us of who we want to be. So we are playing the long game. So sometimes when you're frustrated and angry, just look at your vision, and it will remind you again what kind of what you need to do to bring about that vision. And so how you need to communicate again. Sometimes in a heat of an argument, I hate you, you hate me, I hate you, you're the worst father, and when we know what we are going, we can actually say, hey, wait, sorry. Time out. I'm sorry. And you see, the word I just said, I'm sorry. I don't know how many of us as parents can actually apologize to our children.
Very hard.
Very hard. And that's the problem. Okay, because of that. And we came from where? Came from our own parents, right? So somehow we believe cannot apologize. You apologize is abdicate your authority and all that. I die must be right. Whatever. What's more powerful, and for us also in the corporate arena, is that we know that nobody's perfect, right? But if we're willing to own up to our mistakes, we make that leader more followable, that we want to follow this guy. It also helps us to know that we may not be perfect, that just like the leader, he's in the right direction. We can also be inspired to improve upon ourselves as well. So I want to encourage parents, those of us listening to this, that partly when you have a mission statement or a family vision, it will remind you where we fall short. And it's all right, to actually go to our kids and say, something. This is what we want as a family. But that day when I talk to you like that, well, it's not the right way. I want to apologize. You mean much more to me than to speak to you that way. Even though I was angry, I wasn't angry at you. I actually was frustrated with work, but I want to apologize to you, and I will be better. You know how powerful that is for the children. And the resentment, they'll forgive. They'll forgive. And the biggest obstacle to parents and kids and children is this thing called resentment. I just resent you because I don't care. It came to a point where even you're right now, I just purposely do opposite just to make you angry. I know it's not right, but I just do it. You don't want me to get in trouble outside school? I will. Just to rebel because I resent you. They don't say I resent you, but that feeling of resentment pushes them to rebel. And so a lot of teenage level children come to that. As children, primary school and all that, they look okay. And suddenly there's a tremendous change. It's not that suddenly that thing happened. It's that it's already there. But the awareness start to happen when they want more independence in teenage, and that's how they react to it. Yeah.
And it sounds like probably subconsciously the parents may have planted a seed. It's like a seed, so if you plant good seed, you have good fruits. If you plant seeds of resentment, you'll grow into full bloom resentment in the future.
Yep. Yeah. So the good news is, the bad news is this you have to be careful what kind of seeds you plant. But the good news is this, that when you become aware of not the right good seeds that you plant, you can actually take corrective action. If you take corrective action, it's not all lost. Yeah, that's the one thing about the human spirit is the endurance. You see, you can endure and do well, or the energy to do well and the energy to fail comes from the same place. The energy to succeed and the energy to sit on your own hands is still energy. It's just different direction. And it takes a lot of, for a mindset to succeed, it also takes a mindset to fail. And so the idea is this: how can we shift mindsets? And we can take corrective action. It's not too late, but you must be willing to put in the work lah, and you must be willing to play the long game as well. Yeah.
Yes, and I really hope that parents who are watching this and if you feel that you can do better and can support your child much better, I think there's a lot of things that we can learn that's working with other for the parents. Yeah,
John, if I can just chime in here,
yes,
practically, I would like to ask every parent here, your relationship between you and your child, between 0 to 10, if you can put a figure on it, 0 to 10, what is that number?
Me?
No, not you, John. everyone. I mean, this is something in your mind.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask you to say out your figure, but
you can ask me. You can ask me.
Yeah. Sure, go ahead. If you say, I mean, use you for example. Okay, what would be that figure between you and your child?
Actually, and I asked my girls this question.
Yes, that's very good.
Yeah, and they gave me 10 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah, so I almost cried.
Beautiful, right?
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, and I didn't expect that. And then even and my middle child say, I can give you 100. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're doing something right. Wonderful. Yeah. But what about yourself? What do you feel your relationship with them between 0
I would say 10 as well. Yeah, I would say 10 because every day I'm making sure that I dedicate time to help them with their schoolwork. But on top of that, I spend individual time with them, talking about other stuff. Yeah.
Very good. See, does that mean you're perfect?
Nope. I'm not.
That's right. Okay, so I want to tell parents this. Are you confident as in your relationship with your children? Because if you are badgering yourself on all the things you have done wrong, I mean, we are not perfect, but when we keep focusing on the things we didn't do right enough, for instance, we think like, oh, maybe I don't earn enough money, or I wish I can send my children for more enrichment, but we cannot afford it, I'm not a good parent or whatever. When the more we dwell on what we are not doing right, we forget about what we're doing right. And the idea is, how can you put yourself in the best confident, resourceful state to be the best parents? And that is to look at what you're doing right, to inculcate that confidence, security. When insecure parents is this, I need control, I need authority, I need you to obey me. If you talk back to me, that means I'm not a good parent, you disrespect me and all that. And, it gets very messy beyond that. But if we can laugh away at some of the comebacks, and we can, laugh at ourselves sometimes, don't take ourselves so seriously, we can be in the best frame to actually be flexible and love our children the best way. Yeah. And so really look at what you have. Don't focus on what you don't have. Yeah. The other thing I'm going to say is this, and some of you might say, okay, I'm a 5 or a 6. So if you are a 5 or 6 now, what do you want instead? Do you want an 8 or 9? What does that 8 and 9 look like? Okay, so in your mind now, you must be able to visualize and see what the 8 and 9 look like. It cannot look like 5 or 6. So what does 8 and 9 look like? And then ask yourself, how are you going to get there? What are the actions you need to take to get there, the 8 or 9? And what kind of state you need to be in to be able to do those actions? If you find yourself always triggered, unhappy, frustrated, or there's a relationship issue with your spouse, then maybe you need to work on that first, so that you can be in the best frame, best state when you deal with your children, when you communicate with them. A lot of people say that we don't talk at home. So what? All communication is communication. Silence is communication. And you don't have to talk to them, no. You just we learn vicariously. Children learn by seeing how we interact with our spouse, no.
Yeah.
And so they learn, they see what's going on. And so the best thing that, there's a saying, the best gift you can give your children is to love your spouse, actually. So if the relationship is not good, maybe you need to want to start from there first. Because if that's the angst where you're getting, and then it carries over to your relationship or children, that might explain it. Yeah, John.
Oh yeah, just to add on what you said, I agree. Yeah, because let's say I mean, as a dad, of course, I want my girls, and I got three girls. I want good men to look after them because I'll be gone. Yeah. So I guess and if I think about what kind of man, and probably the kind of relationship that my daughters will have with their future husbands, they will learn a lot from how I take care of my wife. Yeah, because this is the only example that they can see life at home. Yeah, so I better, if I want a good man to look after them, I better set a good example.
Yeah. Wow. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So I think we may be running out of time.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, probably we can just add a bit more, just to wrap up, and then
Sure.
and I remember you wanted to share something with my audience.
Yes.
Please go ahead, man.
Thanks for bringing me onto your program. So happy to be here. That I wanted to give two offers to them. First of all, is a ebook. So if I can, it's possible to share screen.
Yes,
Let me share my screen.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So okay, here we go. Offer number one is this. I've written an ebook, 5 Simple Practices to Happy Relationships at Home. It's very easy to reading. Reading is not a lot of pages, but it outlines some of the things that I'm talking about today, about how we can, first of all, build that relationship between husband and wife, and then with our children, and how we can build that. The home is where it all starts, for school and for later in life. And so how can we create that atmosphere at home, so that they can be resourceful, our children can be resourceful in life, in school, and in life as well. So this one I want to give away free to all those who are watching Facebook Live with John Yo. Yeah. And the next thing I want to offer is this. I know motivation is very, very important. A lot of us, I mean, John, you did a lot of webinars and great topics, but undergirding all this is the whole frame of motivation. Without motivation, they will not be able to make the best of all these other things that life has to offer. And so what I want to do is this one-time offer for those who watch Facebook Live with John Yo. I mean, if this is your scenario that you find your child giving up easily or lacking self-confidence in studies or self-motivation in studies, they can pick up motivational skills and it's intrinsic rewards, not just outward rewards, and learn how to overcome obstacles. Okay, so this is purely an online course, which involves watching video and coming together for group sessions on video. So about 6 sessions like that. I charge $300 per student for all the 6 sessions. But for those of you who are interested and you have the promo code on Facebook Live with John Yo, it's $50 for you. And it's a great investment to help your child do well in life, not just studies, but in life as well. So if you want to do that, or you want more information, first of all, you go into this URL, tinyurl.com home motivation, where you can request the free ebook and get more information on motivation excellence course level 1. Okay, so copy down this URL, or maybe you can put it in your Facebook comment or something. Later.
I'll put it in the Facebook post.
Yeah, so you just go there where you can request the free ebook. It'll be sent to you, emailed to you, and then also ask for the information on the motivation excellence course. It's going to probably start in second half of August. Okay, there'll be different levels, primary school, upper primary, lower secondary, upper secondary. And so, but it will be tailored to the participants. All right, so I want to offer this just because, John, you've been such a great inspiration to value add to your audience, and I thought this could also help in a way. So thank you for that.
Great. So parents, again, the reason why I brought Darren up is because I think thanks to Stuart, also a good friend of mine, I managed to get the trainer for teachers. Yeah, you know how hard it is to get the teacher of the teachers. Yeah, so definitely I think your child can learn something from Darren. And in fact, when I posted up that I'm going to interview Darren, a few of my friends actually messaged me that, wow, this is a great guy. Yeah. And also very respected in your community as well. Yeah. And we have a parent by the name of Jessica. I think it's a friend of mine. She said, "Thank you, brother Darren, for sharing."
Wow.
Yeah, probably. I think she knows you already before
Jessica.
that.
Wow.
Jessica Zuo, ZHUO. ZHUO.
Well, I need to find out who that is.
Yeah, I think she's probably one of the very few who has been watching it right from the start.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, it's time to wrap up. Yeah, because we have exceeded the timing. Yeah. But again, so much great content, so little time. Next time we'll do 10 hours. Okay? 10 hours.
Right. Sure.
From 12 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. So out of so many tips you have shared, what will be one final takeaway for parents? Because maybe they're overwhelmed, they want to be a good parents, they want to support their children better, but so many tips. So what can they do? One thing by tonight.
Yes. I think firstly, as a parent, we're not just a parent. We are also sons and daughters. We take care of our elderly parents. We also have work responsibilities.
Yeah.
And we are of course parents and various other roles that we play. Sometimes we don't take care of ourselves. I mean, the best thing I can tell you to do is to take self-care. Because the question we want to ask ourselves is this: how can you become the most resourceful person to be the best parent that you can be? And of course, the best employee or the best supervisor, leader, best son, daughter, brother, sister, whatever that you can be. And you have to take stock of your own well-being. And so this is what we teach the teachers, self-care. And so how can you find sources of energy, learn to tap into those sources of energy so that you can become in the best state, best frame, your best parents. Yes. So that's the last thing I want to say to you.
It's so important. Yeah, because sometimes because of our own self and because we are so low in energy, and we didn't take care of our mental well-being. Yeah, so sometimes there's something called transference. We transfer the negative emotion onto our kid, and our kid get it from us because of our state.
Yes. Yeah. And it is reflected in school. And sometimes a lot of the misbehavior in school, it's not because they are misbehaving, it's just like what you said, transference, or what we call symptomatic behavior in counseling, because they cannot express their frustration or their concern of what is happening at home. So they act it out either through bullying or even I've seen it happen, how people wet their pants and in school and become so fearful. A lot of symptomatic behaviors, actually reflection of what's happening at home.
Yep. And just to add on, because I was a social worker by profession for 7 years, and I do work closely with school counselors, and all of us are professionals, because some of them think that we are doing voluntary work. Yeah. So there's a big misconception, and I do see kids who are being mistreated at home because they feel weak. When they go to school, they want to feel strong. They bully other people. Yeah, so it could be that way as well, and not just being bullied by their friends. Yeah, so parents do watch out your kids' behavior in school as well. And sometimes I think as parents we may want to protect our kids, but I think it's even more important to listen to hear the teachers and see how teacher and the parents both together can work together to support the kid rather than just from one of them.
Yes, well said.
Yes, and I really think that our school, and I mean parents and teachers alike, they must learn to work together for the benefit of our kids. If not, the problems that we are facing in school will never go away. Yeah. Yeah. And I think the teachers who are listening to this, probably they are all smiling. Yeah, someone speak up for them. Yeah. Okay, Darren, thanks so much for your time. And
Thank you,
I still
John.
have one last question.
Yay.
Yeah. Okay, because this is for our Facebook group of parents who support their kids in math. Yeah, so I will always ask my guests this final question before I release them. Yeah. So as you know, PSLE is coming soon. Yeah. And probably the 12-year-olds are getting more anxious. Yeah. So if I may invite you to walk down the memory lane down to your younger self, yeah, what will you tell the 12-year-old Darren when you bump into him? There's no wrong or right. It can be anything.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. I bracketed today's session today by saying that my back history was wasn't that woke into studies at that point in time. And I look back, I asked myself, what if I become a Magatot early in life? And what
Sorry,
will I miss?
what? Sorry?
Magatot. Sorry, different generation. Magatot, Maga.
Oh, mark the paper. Mark and study very hard.
Mugging, yes, mugging.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Different generation. So what if I became a Magatot early in life? I realized that if I'd done that, I might have missed out a lot of other things in life.
Yeah.
I as far as I remember, I mean, I'm outdoorsy, go and play games, football, especially badminton, running around. And that's part of the reason why I'm still very active NS, still combat fit at this age. Not obese or what. Still getting gold for IPPT. Important. The one for NS men important, $500, you know. So I'm waiting for the IPPT open again after this post-COVID, so I can go and take my $500.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, okay. And I've explored the outdoors, and so I realized that there's always trade-offs. Yeah, but at the end of the day, is this when we look back, in our journey, if I see my 12-year-old self again going up for PSLE, I will probably ask him focus a bit more on Chinese, but because that's the one I didn't do that well in. But the rest okay. But I would just tell him, keep going. You will turn out okay. You will turn out all right. Just to let him know that you will turn out all right. Keep going.
Keep going. Wow, that's such a nice wrap up. Yeah. Can I just share with the parents that what I found out about you?
Sure.
Yeah, because I think that not many parents know you but I think that you have a lot of credibility. Yeah, that I want to share, because if I don't share, I don't think it's good for also. Yeah. So what I realized about you is I heard from Stuart that you are a solemnizer.
Yes, I'm marriage solemnizer, the deputy registrar of marriages, so I can marry people.
Yeah, sign their life away. Yeah, but at the same time, what amazed me is you shared with me that you are one of the very few that is sorry, one of the very few batches that got the accreditation from the President of Singapore or something. I think you mentioned that, right, when you shared with me.
A few batches. Sorry, what was that? There was.
Oh, okay,
lag.
okay. Because when I first talked to you and shared with me that you are one of the very few that is being assigned by the President of Singapore or something like that. I thought did I get that wrong?
Oh no, yeah. That was a different thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And what was that? Is it okay that you can share?
That no, it's pertaining to the marriage. Solemnizing.
Yeah.
Some people are justice of peace.
Yeah. That's a word. Yeah.
So, but I'm not a justice of peace. I'm not a justice of peace. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, great. So there's Darren for us for the past 1 hour and a half or 50 minutes. Yeah. And I really hope that you learn a lot from here because again, for Darren, what I feel about him is because he does train the teachers. So I think it's nice of him to share with us like both sides of the story and how we parents can support the teachers as well, because the teachers are the one looking after your kid. So I think if there's collaborative relationship, it'll be good for three of us, not just your kid. Yeah. So Darren, thanks so much for being here. And don't go off first. I'll start the Facebook Live and then we'll do a short debrief. Okay?
Sure.
Ken?
Thanks, John. Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.